Phil Donahue, a pioneering talk show host, dies at 88. Phil Donahue, the groundbreaking television personality behind The Phil Donahue Show, passed away on August 18, 2024, at the age of 88. His show, which premiered in 1967 and ran for nearly 3 decades, revolutionized daytime television by incorporating audience participation and tackling controversial topics. Known for his in-depth discussions on issues like abortion, consumer rights, civil liberties, and war, Donahue often hosted debates between liberals and conservatives. His frequent guest, Ralph Nader, became a household name through their appearances together. Donahue's impact on the industry was immense, with Oprah Winfrey crediting him as a major influence on her successful career. Ranked number 42 on TV Guide's 50 Greatest TV Stars of All Time, Donahue is remembered as the King of Daytime Talk. Donahue's legacy of awards and recognition. Phil Donahue's groundbreaking work earned him numerous accolades. He was a 20-time Emmy Award winner, capturing 10 awards for Outstanding Talk Show Host and another 10 for his show. In recognition of his contributions to broadcasting, Donahue received the Peabody Award in 1980 and was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 1993. Beyond television, Donahue's impact extended to other areas. He was honored with the Maggie Award, the highest honor bestowed by Planned Parenthood, in 1987. And in a final testament to his extraordinary career, President Joe Biden awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2024. Net worth. He had a net worth of $150 million at the time of his death. Phil Donahue's early life. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, on December 21, 1935, Phil Donahue hailed from a middle-class Irish Catholic family. His father worked as a furniture salesman, and his mother was a department store shoe clerk. Growing up in the West Park neighborhood, Donahue attended Our Lady of Angels Elementary School, graduating in 1949. He later became part of the inaugural graduating class of St. Edward High School, a Catholic preparatory school in Lakewood, Ohio, in 1953. Donahue's educational journey culminated with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree from the University of Notre Dame in 1957. Early career. Donahue's early career. Phil Donahue's media career began in 1957 as a production assistant at KYW Radio and Television in Cleveland. A chance opportunity to fill in as an announcer marked the start of his on-air journey. After a brief detour as a bank check sorter in Albuquerque, New Mexico, he returned to broadcasting as program director for WABJ Radio in Adrian, Michigan. His career gained momentum as a stringer for CBS Evening News, followed by an anchor role at WHIO-TV in Dayton, Ohio. There, his interviews with high-profile figures like Jimmy Hoffa and Billy Soul Estes garnered national attention. Concurrently, Donahue hosted a local phone-in talk show, Conversation Piece, from 1963 to 1967. Throughout his early career, Donahue showcased his interviewing prowess by engaging with a diverse range of personalities. In Dayton, he interviewed President John F. Kennedy, Johnny Carson, Malcolm X, and Vietnam War protesters like Jerry Rubin. His ability to connect with a wide audience laid the groundwork for his future success. Later, in Chicago and New York City, Donahue continued to expand his interview repertoire, speaking with icons like Elton John, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and Noam Chomsky. The Phil Donahue Show. A television pioneer. Phil Donahue's groundbreaking talk show, The Phil Donahue Show, debuted in November 1967 on WLWD in Dayton, Ohio. Initially broadcast only on stations owned by Crosley Broadcasting Corporation, the show achieved national syndication in January 1970. Over its 29-year run, the program relocated from Dayton to Chicago in 1974 and then to New York City in 1984. Filmed at Rockefeller Center, the show aired its final episode on September 13, 1996, after producing nearly 7,000 one-hour programs. Beyond his show, Donahue also contributed to NBC's The Today Show as a regular feature from 1979 to 1988. A bridge between nations. During the Cold War era of the 1980s, Phil Donahue and Soviet journalist Vladimir Posner hosted a groundbreaking series of televised discussions called the U.S.-Soviet Space Bridge. This unprecedented program brought together ordinary citizens from the United States and the Soviet Union for open dialogue. Donahue hosted an American audience while Posner led a Soviet audience, fostering direct communication between the two nations. As tensions between the superpowers escalated, Donahue and Posner offered a platform for understanding and empathy. In a time of nuclear threat, Donahue famously stated, "We reached out instead of lashed out." The success of the Space Bridge led to a long-standing partnership between Donahue and Posner, culminating in the weekly program Posner/Donahue from 1991 to 1994. Their collaboration extended beyond television, with Donahue's wife, Marlo Thomas, creating a children's version of their work titled Free to Be a Family in 1988. Phil Donahue was a trailblazing talk show host whose daytime program, The Phil Donahue Show, revolutionized television. He introduced audience participation, dedicating full hours to in-depth conversations with a single guest, a format that set him apart from other interview shows of the 1960s. His show resonated particularly well with female audiences. Return to television. In July 2002, after 7 years of retirement, Donahue returned to television to host a show called Donahue on MSNBC. However, the program faced challenges. On February 25, 2003, MSNBC abruptly canceled it after just 6 months due to low ratings. Controversial cancellation. Following the show's cancellation, an internal MSNBC memo leaked to the press revealed that Donahue's opposition to the imminent U.S. invasion of Iraq played a role. The memo suggested that he would be a difficult public face for NBC in a time of war, and that his program could be seen as a home for the liberal anti-war agenda. Documentary work. In 2006, Donahue co-directed the feature documentary film Body of War with independent filmmaker Ellen Spiro. The film tells the poignant story of Tomas Young, a severely disabled Iraq War veteran, and his challenging post-war adjustments. It received critical acclaim and was considered for an Oscar nomination in 2007. Musical mention. Donahue even made a cameo in Terry Clark's 1995 debut single, Better Things to Do. Advocacy and support. In June 2013, Donahue joined other celebrities in a video expressing support for Chelsea Manning. Donahue was interviewed for the documentary film, Finding Vivian Maier, 2013, about the posthumously recognized American street photographer and an acquaintance of his from the 1970s. On May 24 and May 25, 2016, Donahue spoke at Ralph Nader's Breaking Through Power conference at Dayton Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. Personal life and death. Phil Donahue married Margaret Cooney in 1958. They had 5 children together: Michael, Kevin, Daniel, Mary Rose, and James. The couple divorced in 1975. Margaret returned to her hometown of New Mexico, remarried, and withdrew from public life. The family once resided in Centerville, Ohio, across the street from humorist Irma Bombeck, who would later become a prominent figure in the 1970s and 1980s. Interestingly, Donahue employed renowned street photographer Vivian Maier as a nanny for his children during the 1970s. Donahue's second marriage was to actress Marlo Thomas in 1980. The couple did not have children. In 1999, Phil Donahue was a top contender to host the game show Greed alongside Keith Olbermann, but the position ultimately went to Chuck Woolery. Tragedy struck the Donahue family in 2014 when his youngest son, James, passed away suddenly at age 51 from a ruptured aortic aneurysm. Regarding his faith, Donahue identified as Catholic but was critical of the church's stance on sexuality. He admitted to not being a very good Catholic and believed an annulment of his first marriage was unnecessary. Despite his differences, he expressed admiration for Pope Francis. Donahue passed away peacefully at his Upper East Side Manhattan home on August 18, 2024, after a prolonged illness. He was 88 years old. Thank you for watching this far. For more content like this, subscribe and click on the bell notification.